And that's our guest.
Couldn't get off the phone.
Would this be
Sit in my
Rob
car for an
Goldstein?
hour.
It could be.
It could be, okay.
Just wanted to get here
Excellent.
early so I can not
It could be okay.
Okay. So let me just tell you what, I'm going to do a quick mic check here. And I'm going to.
professional.
I don't normally get good reception where I'm at right now. Hope you can hear me okay.
Okay, yeah. You're not talking on a speakerphone, are you?
Hang on. That better for you?
That is much better. Okay, and let me introduce you to my. Say again? Well, okay, try. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, because we're recording you, and then that way it'll show up. So we've got two co-hosts here, Mark Hahn, and this is Rob Goldstein.
Hey, Rob.
And then we also have Catherine Harris.
Hey Rob, how are you?
I don't think he can hear
Catherine.
you through the.
Yeah.
He hears through
Oh,
the
he hears
speaker,
through
right?
that.
So
Catherine!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is why when you do that, you always see me doing this kind of thing. I always kind of like talk that direction.
Well, this is
because
going
otherwise
to be.
Oh, and then we
this is
have,
gonna be interesting.
I know.
We have Kramer, our videographer.
Hey, Robert.
Nice to meet you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
You're coming in good now.
And I got to be careful because this microphone that you're on is very careful. I've got to make sure I don't bump anything, or else it'll.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy. So it's nothing on your end. It's something we have to worry about. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go do my intro, and then when you hear me say, welcome, Rob, welcome, and you do go by Rob, don't you?
Rob, yes,
Okay, okay, and I go by Edward, and Mark, and Catherine, okay. And so what I'll do is I'll introduce you basically by saying, today's guest is Rob Goldstein to discuss avoiding scams and how not to be taken advantage of. Welcome to the Best of Investing, and then you can, say thank you very much, and then we'll get right into the various things on your sheet here about, the most popular scams consumers run into, how to avoid them. We'll ask you, a few questions based on that, okay?
Okay, now remember my scams or my scams. The things that I call out of work, I usually about debt and creditor stuff.
Okay, that's fine. We're just going to let you, kind of take it from there, and we'll ask you some basic questions if the ceiling doesn't fall down on me here. Okay, all right. You guys ready? All right.
Sure.
Okay, so let's take it away. Okay. Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on Talk 910, the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. I'm your host, Edward Brown. I'm proud to have as my co-host Mark Hahn of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest-growing mortgage investment firm, and Catherine Harris, CPA of Parati & Karad. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down. 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. You got it. We're giving away 9 vacations during this show. Now, the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. And the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Check them out at their website, lighthouse4fun.com. You can also reach them at 916-777-5511. Today's trivia theme is, for all you math whizzes out there, right triangles.
Oh,
This is going to be a fun one.
this is back to like 5th grade math.
Yeah, well, probably a little bit more than that, but along those lines. Yeah, they're not too hard, but you got to think a little bit. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. And Mr. Kramer here is videoing us for television, Comcast Channel 26 and AT&T Channel 99 on Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 6 p.m. Today's special guest is Rob Goldstein, who's going to discuss avoiding scams and how not to be taken advantage of. Rob, welcome to the Best of Investing.
Well, then you got me back.
Yeah, I brought you back here. Okay, so I'm going to just get first right into this here. What's the most popular scam consumers run into, and how do we avoid them?
Well, there's so many really. I don't know which one's the most popular. But the first thing is that everybody eventually is going to be hacked into with identity theft on their debit cards or credit cards.
Sure.
So be careful about giving out your credit card information online or giving it out to people, because they take the credit cards, they sell it on the open market.
Okay, but obviously, I think almost everybody buy something online, Walmart or Target or, well, of course, Target, that's not a good one now.
Yeah.
Well, Amazon,
Amazon, yeah.
Zappos, just to name my two favorites. But how do you minimize exposure to scam?
Well, I think the first thing you should do is keep a separate credit card or debit card with a very low balance. I like using a debit card, and I like having a small balance in there enough to use your whatever you're going to be using it for, and then replenish it.
You talking about the credit limit?
Huh?
You talking about the credit limit?
Or having a separate bank
Yeah,
account.
the credit limit. So if you give $1,000 on a debit card, and as you use it, replenish it, because if it does get stolen, then they can't spend that much. And most cards, of course, will call you when they see some strange spending. But if you have low limits on there and you can keep them at the low limits, then you can limit also the amount that you're going to lose if you get hacked.
Okay, so wait a minute. So, Rob, I guess for a credit card, you can have a low limit there, but on a debit card, that's where you're talking about replenishing it, right?
Yeah, you can keep $1,000 in that account, and then replenish it as you go along.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Because everybody will get hacked.
I know. I was a victim of identity theft. So
I actually got hacked from a very, very credible hotel.
Oh, really?
Did you figure out how it happened?
Well, it was somebody at the front desk, and they took the information and they sold it to their buddies, or they gave it to their buddies. And then when I did get hacked and was reported to the police, they found where it came from. There was a hotel that I've been going to for 30 years. 30 years.
And a lot of times they sell this stuff for like $50, don't they?
Yes.
They can ruin your life for $50.
They can. And I guess the major point to bring to this is where you have your looking at your credit reports, either on a monthly or on an annual basis. You can get it for free, or you can also sign up and get monitoring through the 3 major credit bureaus.
Well, those monitoring services can be quite costly, but you should get your own credit reports, and we suggest getting credit reports from companies that offer you a free report but don't charge you for the services. If those companies offering free credit reports, those come with when you sign up for the service, that could be as much as $1,000 a year.
But you're allowed to go once a year for free on each of the major ones, right?
So then again,
you're allowed to go for free to get a free credit report once a year from
Experian.
Experian.
You can do that. They're getting so much easier to get now. You can get them once a year from each agency. You can go to places like allyourcreditreport.com and really get a free credit report without having to sign up for services. But some of the leading brands of credit reporting services that offer free reports that you see on the radio and TV. Be careful. They're selling you services. You get free reports. You spend about $1,000 a year.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow! I didn't know the monthly fee was that
Everything,
high.
everything. Unfortunately, in hard times, everybody's coming up with more gimmicks and more scams, and so just assume that more things are scams. And be careful out there.
And their websites sound very similar to the free ones.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. You also have here some information about 3 things that you need to do before considering bankruptcy. I know we're shifting gears, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about that if you could.
Well, I offer bankruptcy consulting. In my book, Make the Charge of Your Credit and Debt, we talk about the bankruptcy a little bit, and most people can't file bankruptcy if they have too much income or too many assets. So some people need to understand what options there are available to them. But what I like to do is to help consumers avoid paying creditors from the bullying tactics. Creditors will call you and hustle money out of you today by phone, and they create an urgency like the world's going to blow up if you don't give them money by phone today. And you as a debtor, the person owing the money, you have your rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act not to get hooked into all those schemes. And there's a lot of people that are claiming that they are the creditor, and they're really not the creditor. And what you should do when somebody calls you for money is the first thing you want to do is validate the debt. Ask them to send you in writing by mail information about the debt that they're the rightful owners of the debt, and that you actually owe you owe that debt.
Yeah, don't you love when you hear about the someone posing as the IRS and they say, well, don't write the check out to the IRS, write it out to Joe Blow, and don't worry, we'll take care of your tax lien.
A lot of those
I have
creditors
a
are
client
they
that
bend
scammed
those
twice
rules.
from the same scam twice, and it was a company saying that they were their mortgage company, and they give them $15,000 an hour called the past dues credit. She not only fell for it once, she fell for it twice. And spent about $25,000 paying the wrong party to get her mortgage current.
So in that case, okay, I guess what you do is you call your banker. But if you don't have a banker, you should initiate the call to the bank, right?
Say that again?
You should initiate the call to the bank rather than receiving a
So the
call.
banks are going to be calling you for a collection. I mean, if you're a day late, they're calling you. It's just that's the way the collection goes these days. But you should always find out who you're talking to, and get their information, and then call the bank back up and verify that all.
Yeah, I got to tell you that I had a situation where I got a call from my mortgage company, large bank, and the guy says, your loan is going to be coming due pretty soon with regard to changing the interest rate. We can get you into this good rate, such and such, and it sure sounded good, and it was good. And it's funny because I went to my regular banker, and the guy says, well, make sure the guy really works for our bank.
Funny.
And I actually go, oh my gosh, that's right. He might be a scam artist, and even though he sent me stuff that looked appropriate, and the email and letterhead and all that stuff, and fortunately it was accurate.
Well, on that point about fraud,
I live by Costa. I live in California and New York. And there's an attorney in New York that was disbarred and closed down for getting money out of people. The mortgage. He was actually a foreclosure attorney for the banks. And the estate shut him down. And he ripped off about $80 million from the banks and the consumers.
Wow.
There are law firms out there posing, trying to collect money, and they get the money, and they don't give it to the creditors either. So they're out there. Everybody's out there scamming somebody. And I guess you should always do things in writing. When you make a settlement, you make a deal, do it in writing first. And let me tell you this: if you give a law firm payment for your debt or someone your debt, and they represent and validate that they have the right to own that debt, then at least you have something to go back on should sell your money.
Well, that's good advice. Catherine was going to say something here.
I was just saying, you have to be conscious wherever you go. There's people who work or have a relationship with a viable bank, or work with various government agencies, or work with other companies who are legitimate, and they can give you very legitimate information. I imagine, Rob, you've heard some crazy stories of how fraudsters can do it. They are very, very creative, and they can get corporate signatures by. I've actually seen a fraud case where they were leasing, I think, mortgages or other vehicles, and they had to get a corporate someone to sign off on the corporate. They used to work with the company, and they left. And to get around it, they called the secretary, who was the corporate secretary,
Who was
on there, who was working.
Yeah.
Who didn't know them.
Didn't know.
They pretend to be radio show hosts, and she won a contest. But she won a contest, and she won a free stay in New York for $3,000. She just needed to sign the release form to get her prize.
Sure.
She was very happy to sign a release form, and they were happy to shovel over $3,000 for her signature that they then were able to forge and get it.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
So they even gave her the $3,000.
Oh yeah, well, it was
wanted
a huge fraud. I mean, it was millions of dollars. I can't remember. Was that down in Florida?
It's funny. Some of these guys, they don't even pay the $3,000. They,
Yeah, so at least she made good. At least she got her free trip to New York.
Well, Rob, I tell you, we're cutting a little bit short on time here, but you've written a book about this kind of advice, haven't you?
Yes, it's called Taking Charge of Your Debt and Credit.
Okay.
And it's available on Amazon, it's available online. You can always call me to get a copy of the book, whatever they like to do, and I offer information. I can help people make their own choices and explore their options.
Okay. And when you go on Amazon, make sure you use one of those debit cards that you were just talking about with a little bit of specific limit.
I think that that's probably pretty safe.
Great. Rob Goldstein, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom with us.
You guys have a nice night.
Thanks, you too.
Right.
See, he said night because he's back east.
He's 3 hours ahead.
He's back east. Okay, we are going to cut to our first commercial break, and again, the theme is right triangles. We're going to see how smart you people are here. You got to think about this for a little bit. All right, a right triangle ABC is given where angle B is 90 degrees. Which side of the triangle is the longest? And you have a choice: AB, BC, or CA.
Can you say that one more time?
Okay, of course. Okay, a right triangle ABC is given where angle B equals 90 degrees. Which side of the triangle is the longest? AB, BC, or CA? The first three callers with the correct answer. Get out your pen, your protractors and your compasses and everything.
Right.
The first three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort, and we'll enter you into that Smarter Than a Fifth Grader run. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question one more time. A right triangle ABC is given where angle B equals 90 degrees. Which side of the triangle is the longest? AB, BC, or CA? Give us your name and spell out your email one letter at a time. Don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing will be right back. Gotta make you guys think a
So I
little
had to
bit.
write it out.
That's right. Very good.
Good job.
Good
Well,
job.
you do it in your head. I haven't drawn it out. I figured it out, but I was like,
I figure if anybody was going to get it, it'd be Mark, being in the construction business and so forth. That he's
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
I
good
figure
point.
he's got it. What was the answer?
CA.
And then he screwed
CA.
up my guess between CA. I'm like, wait,
Would
is
you
there
say-
AC as an option?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But I was,
Yeah.
wait.
That's too bad that connection was so poor.
He wasn't
Oh.
that good. I
Yeah,
know.
I couldn't hear.
I don't know if it was his, what it was
The
specifically.
volume was up too high on something.
I know. I had to kind of turn him down a little bit.
Probably
It's a great
with
conversation.
him.
Fraud's a wonderful thing. Amazing. They are so
No, I know.
great.
I know.
It's
I know.
so-
It's just fraud's a wonderful.
it's
I know what you
amazing.
meant, but it sounds
Yeah.
funny. I love fraud. I get
Wonderful
it.
topic.
I love it. I get to be excited. I get all giddy about it. That and numbers.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, see here. You got some numbers here.
Yeah, well, I got it.
Okay. We're good. You know, hold on here.
Were you in construction before you did, or is it just the construction related
I
to?
know.
No, I was just good at math. But my dad's a builder. Was. My uncle's still a builder.
Like that. Okay. Now, if I go like this, and I go.
But I just had to visualize it in my head. Actually, I don't do math. My wife does all the math homework for our daughter.
She does all the math homework for your daughter. I don't see all these funny
Helps
little
her.
things. Oh, helps her with it. Okay. I don't know. I'm just getting
You
kind of
can't
giddy
do it
for
all,
some
so
reason.
Then they got to go take tests.
That's right.
And quizzes.
And she goes, "Wait, where's my mom? Gonna get mom in here, right?"
Just called her on her cell phone.
Yes.
Right there. Here,
Exactly.
Here's a quick picture of the page.
What's that, man?
I'm just so confused. I mean, the conversation's really open. It's like, are we experiencing a bubble? What is this craziness?
I don't know what a WhatsApp is. I don't use it. Never heard of it. And all
No,
of a sudden,
I don't think-
Facebook pays $19 billion for a stupid application that nobody's
19
heard of.
billion for an application?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
I mean,
And I'm sure the people who are now multi-billionaires, I'm sure they worked really, really hard for 15 minutes to like build that app, and now they're set for
four generations
for the
in.
neess 27 generations for life. You know,
Why am I
It's
hearing
just
a little
not-
bit of upsetness in your voice there, Mark?
because I hate them.
Because we all work
Don't
hard.
be shy
Yeah.
about it. How about you really feel?
Okay, ready?
All of us old people who completely
Well-
miss that entire universe of opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. I did.
It's a very weird. I mean, I think that it's well, we can. It
You
can be
wanna
a
bring- you wanna bring that up?
It can. It's an open conversation
Okay,
about
yeah.
what the state of
Okay.
craziness.
There you go. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hahn and Catherine Harris, CPA. I always have to say CPA after that.
Yes,
So
you
that
do.
That's right, so the audience kind of perks up. It's like
She's
saying, you know,
lettered.
doctors. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of letters, our trivia theme is right triangles. And here's the first trivia question. A right triangle ABC is given where angle B equals 90 degrees. Which side of the triangle is the longest? You had a choice, AB, BC, or CA. Now, Mark took off his shoes and socks to figure this one out. And what did he come up with?
AC.
AC, air conditioning, or CA, California. That is correct. Catherine, you have an interesting article.
I do. I guess it's more just of an open-ended conversation that I feel like I have to have because it's something that's been kind of boiling up inside of me over the last kind of 18 months, and as things kind of progress. It's really the discussion around Facebook's proposed, I don't think it's actually finalized, acquisition of WhatsApp.
WhatsApp with that WhatsApp.
Oh, WhatsApp.
transaction.
Okay, that's basically it's a text application.
It's a text application which has no advertisements, which I again find completely contradictory to what Facebook's revenue is derived from.
They'll probably include it. I had downloaded WhatsApp. My son told me to do it because when we were out of the country, apparently you could text with it was free. It was like Skype free.
Yes, definitely outside of the U.S. it's amazing. It's worth it. But go on.
Okay. Well, so no, I was just going to say that maybe what Facebook's going to do, they buy it and then suddenly they start throwing on, just like some of these great websites that you use a lot, and then suddenly they say, okay, from now on it's going to cost $100 a year to use it or something.
Yes, like a lot of the news are Wall Street Journal, I think now.
Okay.
If you haven't. But it's just that I feel like we're being bombarded with advertisement. I mean, even when I look at my emails, now they're even in the threads. I have 3 emails and then there's an advertisement.
Or games.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy. I'm playing solitaire and up pops Donkey Kong or some kind of crazy thing.
I don't know about you guys. I love tech, but we're of an age where we kind of miss this whole thing about what's going on now in the whole tech environment. And I read this and it's like 19 billion for something I've never even heard of, and probably designed by a couple of guys in their 20s who are now set for the next 37 generations. I just don't get it. 19 billion for what?
Well, and you have to put it in
for
perspective.
WhatsApp.
Exactly. I mean, they in the article they talk about how Comcast wants to buy Time Warner Cable. Everyone knows those names.
Yeah.
For $45 billion.
Yeah.
So that is the playing field they're in, and I don't get it either. I don't, and that's when.
I'm sorry, it's not worth it. It's stupid money. It just goes to show you that like a company like Facebook that has somehow amassed billions and billions of dollars of net worth or stock worth or whatever for whatever reason. In fact, I don't even use Facebook anymore because it's just annoying.
Yeah.
But,
exactly.
But they go and they spend 19 billion, which I guess if they're putting it back in the economy somehow, or if these kids who are now multi billionaires, 19 times over get to.
No, but the rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
Yeah,
and I got some Dutch tulip bulbs I want to sell.
Hopefully, it comes back into the community in the form of philanthropy, which a lot of them do. So I guess that part is the good part. But it's just, when these guys hit home runs, these aren't home runs. These are hitting them outside of the Earth's gravitational pull. This is just ridiculous.
We got to come up. 3 of us can come up with something.
Look at some of the profits. I think Twitter hasn't generated a profit since it's gone public, or even before. I'm not sure about Facebook.
Well, do you remember Netscape? Wasn't that one of the first ones? I mean, that didn't generate profit at all for.
Right, but Mark Andreessen is filthy rich, multiple billion times over for creating something that ended up doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, and even Amazon, I think, didn't for quite a while. And then I think eventually.
I know. I think maybe has. That
one,
I think it looks like it's. Well, it actually has a service, a product, whereas just Facebook and WhatsApp and Twitter, I'm like,
they're just
don't
annoying.
Get it. Exactly, and I think at some point in time. And the kids in this generation, the ones who are really into the Twitter, they're moving on to the next thing.
Oh yeah,
they're on
exactly.
Instagram now, and
Pinterest or something like that. Yeah, you know what? Eventually, Facebook will charge you to make sure that you don't get it on your computer.
I actually think Facebook will be gone in 5 years.
Yeah,
I think any of us are going to be talking about it.
And that's where
a lot of people are going to lose money as a result from the stock and from other investments and related investments.
Audience, put this on your calendar that Mark Hanf said in 5 years he doesn't think that anyone will even talk about Facebook that much because they'll be out of business.
Well, think about MySpace.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still around. But that's whether we have no bubble, is this kind of this new wave of these applications and these websites that are where their revenue is significantly driven by advertisement. It's gonna come to a point where it is just too much. And I don't know if it's just because we have to adjust to the new day and age, where before you had the advertisements in your magazines and in newspapers, is this just what it is? Or is it just been a huge push and it's going to turn the other way at some point? Because a lot of people, I will not go on Facebook anymore. I actually never joined just because out of laziness.
Yeah.
And now I won't do it because I don't want any of the advertisement. I want some privacy.
You mean you don't want to put that in your resume that, hey, I'm on Facebook?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and here it says in this little article, WhatsApp has more than 450 million active users. Now, I'm going to argue with the term active, because just because you sign up doesn't mean you're active.
I haven't used it for 6 months, but I
So-
haven't.
So I would question that. And again, it's Facebook's money, and they can do what they want. And
I don't know.
buy
I've
the
got
companies
100
they want.
likes. That's pretty good.
I'm blown away by the types of valuations and the money that these guys throw around, and I think it's certainly something like this doesn't help the situation that's going on in San Francisco, where you have a lot of anger aimed towards the tech universe, because in the world, the people work in tech, because it's kind of like they live in this world where a billion here, a billion there.
They're playing Monopoly.
Yeah,
right. It's monopoly.
Did you hear about all the people in San Francisco getting upset with the Google people because,
Of course.
The buses and all the kind. It's like, gosh, I thought these people were supposed to be happy that they're doing, good for the environment by not, clogging up the freeways.
Not when rents for a 600 square foot studio apartment are now $6,500 a month, and you stand in line with 300 other people trying to get that apartment.
Okay, now I think you're being
out.
a little facetious, but I mean,
But that's crazy. The
But it is
construction in
good,
the city is amazing right now, and it's all geared towards this
the high tech.
high tech.
Yeah.
Boom. That's
It's funny because I wouldn't live in San Francisco if you paid me. I just don't like it.
It's a young person's city.
The industry that it's currently serving in, that is providing the money. But to your point, Mark, about philanthropy.
Philanthropy.
I can't say it. There's some words once a day I just cannot say. That will be the one for the day. It's who's losing out is the investors who are coming into the game after it went to IPO. It's CalPERS. It's us and our 401k plans. They're the ones who are going to lose out should Facebook go under in 5 years, or they just don't make this unbelievable, out of this world profit.
No.
I mean
at least like Tesla, what is $250 a share or close to it, right? I mean, at least they make a car.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing tangible here that I can see that says, okay, that this is something that's a viable industry or product.
It's all software driven. Okay, tell you what, we're going to, before we cut to our second commercial break, and when we come back, we've got some very interesting emails for our guests, our hosts here. Just a quick little promotion here for the wine country, the Glen Ellen Inn. It's the Glen Ellen Inn Oyster Grill and Martini Bar. I love that. Is the perfect place for a romantic meal or party with friends and family. Make a night of it and stay at the Glen Ellen Secret Cottages. And I took some friends there. I don't know if you've eaten there, but it's fantastic. And they just did a bunch of remodeling. Check them out at glenelleninn.com. Okay, the trivia theme is right triangles. Not left ones, but right ones. Okay, ready for this? There is a right triangle PDQ where angle Q equals 90 degrees and angle P equals angle R. What is the measure of angles P and R? The first three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. There is a right triangle, PDQ, where angle Q equals 90 degrees. Well, of course, if it's a right triangle, it's got to be 90 degrees, right? Okay. And angle P equals angle R. What are the measurements of angles P and R? How many degrees? All right? Call 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name and your email address. Speak slowly. Spell out your email one letter at a time. Don't touch that dial. The best of investing. We'll be right back with the answer to this question. 45. I had to make them kind of easy,
No, most people would not know that unless you have any math behind it. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Because 180 degrees,
yes.
You too. Now the next one, you got to think a little bit more. I didn't want to make them too hard.
Yeah.
I wanted to give away vacation.
You're just trying to see who's really listening.
And you know what? Honestly, sometimes I ask questions. Because sometimes like, see what I did. See what you made me did.
All me.
Shoot, I don't know what I. That was not good. Okay, let me try this again here.
How
Save
funny.
as.
So at my office, one of my agents comes in and says, "Oh, Google this address. I've got a loan application for it, Deering Court in Oakland." On my phone, I'm just looking at my Google, which is kind of like the Google Now thing, and it says 42 minutes to Deering Court in Oakland. It's like, why is that on there? It's like, oh, that's the property that I just looked at. So so my phone, which has Google Now, is watching what I'm doing on any other computer
Oh, that's
because
cool.
because I use Google every day, a bazillion times a day. Google Maps, Google Search, and I'm always thinks I'm talking to it, so it just went on. And so I've signed up with my account so I can like customize Google to have my way with it.
Well, it's like the phone. If I start typing,
Yeah.
it'll go. Oh, did you start to mean this? Like
Yeah.
phrases or
It's amazing.
it's that part is pretty cool.
So I like my new phone.
Finally, you got
Down with Apple.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't.
Tired of those smug Apple fanboys.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Away we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Humph and Catherine Harris, CPA. When we cut to the second commercial break, and again, the theme is right triangles. Here was the question. There's a right triangle PDQ where angle Q equals 90 degrees and angle P equals angle R. Now, Mark put his shoes and socks back on, and he was still able to answer this question.
He's on fire today.
He's on fire. What's the answer?
45.
45. That's right.
They're both
Because
equal.
there you go. 180 degrees, right triangle. Okay.
I did good in geometry back in high school.
Geometry. Yeah, my math teacher would be very happy. Okay, a couple of interesting emails we received here. So Catherine says here, now that we're past December 31st, 2013, are there any tax strategies I can do to lower my 2013 taxes, or am I too late?
Sorry to say, for the most part, you're kind of too late. And it depends. Are we talking about an individual who just got a W-2, a business? Usually what you could do is, that I can think of off the top of my head, has to do with planning or making contributions to retirement plans. If you have some extra money and you have and your income's not significant, it doesn't hit any of the maximum thresholds, the limits, you can make some contributions into some IRAs. If you have a SEP IRA, you can do that as well. That's what I can think of as the only thing you can do. Usually after the end of the year, you can't do much. The government wants you to basically account for the transactions, the cash in and the cash out that happened in that specific year.
I mean, you can't like backdate checks.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck on that one. Well, also like with SEP IRAs, if you file an extension, you can
get
at least get a little longer than April 15th. It is kind of tough, isn't it?
It does get tough.
So when do people usually come to you to start planning for the current year?
See, if you want to look forward and more like, let's talk about what you can do for 14, you really should talk to your accountant, usually that mid-year, just to see if there's anything that's significant that's changed that they should consider for your estimated tax payments if you're setting up a new business. But usually around September, October is where you really want to hone down and get an idea of where you think you're going to end the year.
Yeah, because that gives you a few months to really,
Exactly.
to do extra withholding or, that sort of thing.
Yes, if you've got strong income, if you should be taking more in your compensation, if you should take a distribution, if you can prepay your rent, that's one thing you can do to deduct it, but you can only deduct it if you actually pay it in December for January.
Yeah, for business, sure.
So you can do it, but generally that planning has to happen that last quarter of the year.
I remember one strategy that CEOs used to use is they would have no withholding taken from their paycheck until December, and then they'd have the entire paycheck taken out because the IRS looks at just the W-2 and they just presume it's been done evenly through the year. Does that still happen a lot?
That does still happen. There are people who will go all year, and that also depends on, they may even front end it too.
Yeah.
If they want to do it that way as well. But throughout the year, people they'll change what their withholdings are going to be, or their planning changes. Their income is going to change, their strategy changes. And as long as you're a W-2, that's not a problem. Usually when you get to being if you're an estimated taxpayer, you make estimated payments, then they'll start to ding you on early on not paying on time. Because you can see it, California, they even make you pay way in advance.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny. I remember years ago, this one client made a mistake by $5, and because his income had gone way up, he actually got a $400 penalty. So he was off on his estimates by $5 because the question basically came: Did you at least pay what you paid last year? And back then they didn't have the 125% rule, so they just, as long as you paid in what you paid in last year, you were fine. Didn't matter if you made $1 billion, but he missed it by $5 for whatever reason, and he got hit a $400 penalty for that.
There you go.
Nasty.
Sometimes $1 can make a difference. It can make $1,000, $100 difference. You do want to play
Okay, so for our listeners who don't want to make mistakes like that, how do they get a hold of you?
You can reach me at Parody and Crowd. We're located in Larkspur. We can talk over your tax visit for 13 if you want to talk over 13 and see if we can make some changes for 13 or looking ahead for 14.
Good idea.
I can be reached at 415-461-8500.
And Larkspur, it's actually Larkspur Landing, isn't it?
It is Larkspur
So
Landing.
people in the East Bay can just take the nice ferry over, or from San Francisco, they can take the ferry over.
Yes, you could be sad and nervous that you're coming to see a tax preparer on the way in, and then on the way out, be happy that we got a plan of attack and we know what we're doing going forward.
And a nice ride on the
Enjoy
ferry.
the ferry ride.
That's it. Okay, Mark, an email we received for you. It says here, if I invest in your fund, will I earn interest right away?
Good question. So at Pacific Private Money, we have an investment vehicle we call the Pacific Private Money Fund that we launched last year and has been doing very, very well. We've got about 35 investors in there and growing. And it is, we use the funds to make loans to real estate investors. We still do individual trustees as well, but our business model has been maneuvering toward the fund model. It's much more efficient, and in this day and age of the other companies that I'm competing with some companies that operate from the fund model, and so in order to keep up with them, we launched the Pacific Private Money Fund, and as we said, it's been doing really, really well for the first several quarters in its operation. So the way a fund model is generally built is that when someone writes a check to become a member of that fund, their money isn't put in what we would call the operating account right away. Usually there's two accounts. One would be like a subscriber account, and the other one would be an operating account. The subscriber account is where your money sits kind of on the sidelines waiting to be put to use. And so otherwise, what would happen is the other shareholders would see their yields diluted if all of a sudden large blocks of money came in and was sitting in the operating account in cash. So basically, we look to optimize the cash that's in the fund at any one time. We generally have good deal flow on a weekly basis, and so we're funding loans and we're looking at we're targeting when we need the funds. And so as new money comes in, it does sit in an account bearing no interest. Now, it's not going to sit there for very long. Generally, in fact, the longest I think we've had any money sit in there was just a little over 2 weeks. So, but again, to protect the yield for the existing shareholders, we have to wait for the next funding opportunity.
And once the money is in, even if a loan gets paid off, those clients are still in.
Now that's a pretty high level, question and answer. And so, while I have the opportunity, I do want to talk about the fact that the Pacific Private Money Fund is currently paying a yield of around 8.5%, and it's all secured by California real estate at loan to values at around 70% or less. The weighted average LTV in the fund right now is 63%. So we've got a very, very well protected collateral in the fund.
Actually,
it's all notes secured by deeds of trust.
I'm going to correct you on that because one thing the audience doesn't know, when Mark has done a bunch of loans, they have been to people who are going to then take their own money and improve the property. So maybe it was 63% loan to value at the time of the origination of the loan. However, because these people have improved the property, the LTV drops to sometimes 50%.
Well, it does. The market value of the properties that are collateral for those loans, those values are generally going up, and particularly on a fix and flip loan where they plan to pay the loan back within 6 months to a year, the property values are higher. So if we actually had independently audited appraisals on all of the properties of which the loans, the fund loans are secured thereby, you'd probably be closer to 50% loan to value. So it's very well secured. We're experts in Bay Area real estate. Our clientele is almost exclusively real estate investors. We don't make consumer home loans. We don't make loans to people in distress. We don't make high-risk secondary loans to people with 1 foot in bankruptcy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We just don't do that. Our business model is their investment and business purpose loans.
But you're also not paying 18% interest to clients because that's not risky.
Right. Right. We don't. Well,
you don't guarantee these outrageous.
In my opinion,
Bernie Madoff type of return.
Yeah, in my opinion, as funds go, this is one of the lowest risk funds you're going to find that pays high yields that approach the yields that we're doing, between 8 and 9%. So for more information, you can go visit our website, which is pacificmoneyfund.com. That's pacificmoneyfund.com. Or call and leave a message, and we'll send you an email package with information about how it works. We're a very low to no pressure sales environment. We don't push this. We just offer the information. If it's something that's of interest to you, we invite you to come take a look, come meet with us at our office, and you can talk about it and take as long as you want to make a decision. But again, for people who are looking for ways to boost the yield on their retirement savings, this is a great way to do it. It should not be overlooked. So phone number, real quick, 415-883-2150. That's 415-883-2150.
And I don't know if you know the host during the week on Talk 910, Gil Gross, for the afternoon, but he lives fairly close by Mark's office. He's
2 blocks away.
2 blocks away. He's popped in. He's kept seeing the sign. What's this 8% interest rate? And he popped in and spent a couple of different appointments with Mark Understanding, and so now he's been mentioning it on the show. On the air.
That's great to know. Is that you can go in and information can be explained to people. Most people are not well educated in the complexities of investments and retirement and returns. They need to have everything explained, and it's nice that you guys give the opportunity for them to come in, introduce yourselves.
Yeah, we schedule appointments, every day of the week. So that's how I spend most of my time these days, is talking to people about the fund. And it's interesting. People come in and sometimes they really grill me. I had a guy walk in and he had 4 pages of typed questions. Now,
wow.
We were about an hour and a half. Didn't get through all of them, but we're prepared.
Yeah.
So bring your questions.
Bring your
questions.
It's great. It's a challenge to say, I know my stuff, and it's important to have that.
And we do know our stuff. We're very good at what we do at Pacific Private Money.
Very good. Okay, we're going to get to our third and final commercial break. Again, the theme is right triangles. Catherine's going, let's get rid of these questions. No, just kidding. Okay.
I'm going to grab her pen and her
No,
paper.
I've been getting the right answers, but I actually have to write it out.
You're drawing it out. That's okay.
I did a right triangle.
I'd have to get one of my little calculators. Remember the scientific? The scientific ones. Okay. Here's the last question. A right triangle LMN, and Kramer, you're gonna have to put this on TV. You're gonna have to draw out these triangles. All the things. Okay.
Yeah.
A right triangle LMN is given where side MN equals 4, side NL, the hypotenuse, equals 5. What is the length of side LM? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Hypotenuse.
Did you really say hypotenuse?
Yeah, isn't that
something from Dr. Seuss?
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it's some kind of animal in the Amazon. Okay, call 888-912-1190 to answer this question. A right triangle LMN is given where MN equals 4. Side NL, the hypotenuse, equals 5. What is the length of side LM? Leave your name and your email address with that answer to that question. Don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing will be right back with some closing, interesting articles. Well, they better be interesting.
Is it 4?
I actually don't know.
We stumped you? No.
I don't remember what a hypotenuse is.
I don't know either, but if
Is that the
the
curvy
5
one?
is no, I think
Curvy one. Triangles. It's a curvy one. I love it. You gotta say that. You gotta say that on here.
Oh God.
Or not, I don't know any fun
I don't
article.
know.
It's some,
I've got a good article, so.
let's try this. Okay, come on.
I'm with you on that.
What else do they,
I,
is Facebook going to kill WhatsApp or ruin it with advertisements? That's not the plan.
Remember those people like get out of Dodge, get
I
the
just
money, and
oh God, yeah. I mean, that's what they already did.
who did?
I'm saying that's what they already did. I mean, they're selling it to Facebook. What else does Facebook generate revenue
From
right?
Space.
selling air.
Did you see Bitcoins have been in the national news
Lately?
Oh God.
for the last 3 weeks?
I think about a couple of months ago they were. What's going on now?
Yeah, 2 days ago. I was hoping you'd saw it because
Facebook won't
it's the
exist.
first time I ever heard it was
There you
here.
go. You get
Yeah.
someone else. I
And-
agree.
And
it seems
they
like
showed
it's
the
out of
price
it.
of them. And
Facebook is dying.
I have a hard time
Yeah, it's
comprehending
true.
it, but
My daughters don't.
Yeah,
it started out at $400
And
and
every
it
time
took
I look people up, I can tell they haven't posted
Really?
anything.
thousands
forever.
and then back down. And
I just think it's just
Yeah.
a joke. And
Government
every time
will probably
I go
clamp down
it's
on that
just
one.
annoys me. It's like it's the same 5 people who post just annoying
Yeah.
nonsense.
I just don't understand how they have time. Let me take a picture
I
of
went
this.
and I bought some celery. Last time I went and bought some broccoli. Still green. Okay, let me get this. Gotta figure out how many minutes left here.
So were you in the financing industry before you guys started the company?
No, but for 20 years I ran the back office for my family development company, so I did all the financing.
Oh God, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I handled all the escrows on the buying and
Definitely,
selling.
yeah.
I raised capital. I did private placement memorandums. I did spreadsheets for when we were buying property to raise money for when we were selling it, trying to justify the price we were asking for. And,
What was the type of development?
sorry,
What kind of development?
just small
Everything.
commercial, office, strip mall, small industrial.
I do work with
multifamily.
low income housing, and it's so interesting looking at their development and how they structure their financing. It's
Yeah.
always interesting.
How we doing on time?
7 minutes, 37 seconds.
All right,
Okay, good. Do you have anything?
I got a good one.
Okay, all right. Let's get our answer to our questions on this one.
All right,
Oh, that's what you're gonna say, the curvy one.
curvy one.
Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hunt and Catherine Harris, CPA. When we cut to the third and final commercial break, we asked this trivia question about right triangles. A right triangle LMN is given where side MN equals 4, side NL, the hypotenuse, equals 5. What is the length of side LM?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hypotenuse is. Is that like the curvy side?
The curvy side of the right triangle.
You still
I haven't
like
seen
saying
any curvy triangles there.
My guess was 4.
No. Mark?
I have no guess on that
Well,
one.
what was
He was
it?
stuck.
Don't you remember Pygmalion's
Was
theorem?
it 3?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, Pythagoras.
Million from Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, yeah. A squared plus B
oh
squared
my
equals
God! You were on it today.
I know. Okay, because 3 squared equals 9.
No.
4 squared equals 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. What's the square root of 25? 5. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hypotenuse and Pygmalion. I learned a couple of new words today. Thanks for asking.
But Pygmalion, that's sort of like a Hello Dolly. Never mind. Okay, Mark, we only have so many minutes left to go, so you've got a good article.
Oh God, an article after my own heart. So those of you who've listened to this show in the past know that I've railed about the median price index in the real estate industry that everyone keeps talking about, and everyone's wondering what's going on in the real estate market right now because it's just really bizarre. I mean, we just had the slowest January for unit sales in the Bay Area since 2008, and so there's just no inventory. We're in a stagnant inventory right now because prices haven't risen enough for enough people to be have equity in their homes to sell, and which is not necessarily a bad thing because we don't want prices to go up too fast. But the thing in the news you keep reading about, the median price is up, and you would think that your home has magically gone up 25% in value because of this median price index. Well, here's an article, and I just love it. The misuse of median price, according to this article, median price is a virtually worthless metric for most of the purposes for which it is used. The only practical use of it is for industry types who need to see where the middle of any particular market is. And I ask, who cares, right? What relevance is that? So the problem with the median is that it's so commonly used to show purported home price movement. This is a complete fallacy, as the median home from one period to another is never the same. So it's comparing apples and oranges. And he goes on to say, sadly, the perpetuation of the misuse of these statistics appears to be fueled by the laziness in the media. So, and we've talked about the fact that the median price doesn't give you a true appreciation of the average home. And here's the thing that gets me. The information's out there, the statistics are out there. Why wouldn't you say the average price per square foot of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in the Bay Area is X? And it was Y a year ago at this time, and that increase has gone up, 8% or 10%. That would be a real appreciation figure.
Mark,
median is just stupid.
You're using common sense.
So here, for example, this is a different article which supports the fallacy of the median. Here's a completely different article that says, last month, so this would be January, the number of homes that sold for less than $500,000 in the Bay Area dropped 23% year over year, while the number of homes that sold for more increased 17%. So what that tells you is that the type of home, the home range, is the mix of homes, it's different. So there's more higher end homes are selling. So the median price would obviously go up because the median is half the homes selling are for below that price, and half the home is it's almost a random number.
That's why you got to go mean, median, and mode.
Well,
right?
none of those are because none of those really. It's the average price per square foot of a similar home in that market. That's the only relevant statistic, and yet why there isn't any company out there that's providing that.
I got it. Create an app.
There you go.
We just figured.
I
guess I just told the audience. Oh no, someone's gonna steal that idea.
You would have made $20
$1
billion.
billion.
You have to get into Facebook before it's 5 years.
Before they go out of business.
Well, that's crazy.
But I agree with you. There's always misconceptions in the media, especially when it comes to homes, especially right now, just given the market of the Bay Area and the market in general. I mean, they talked about how the nationwide it's been the worst January ever and they all blame it on weather. But it's not that hard. There's enough software out there. They could break it down enough by region. How much is it really by the Northeast? That's where there's bad weather. Here, we're having a bit of another problem with the weather, but it should be sufficient enough that you can the weather's actually to our benefit.
Yeah, that's true.
So, in theory, shouldn't we be counterbalancing what is happening back east?
Well, and certainly, national statistics in real estate are also meaningless, and national statistics are down because of the weather. So, in the Bay Area, do we care that sales are down in the other 49 states, largely because 40 of those have been under snow?
Except for the trickle-down theory of if you do a lot of business back east, and those, business doesn't get done, and so such and such ends up hitting the West Coast.
What happens is a lot of individuals read the headlines and just go off the headlines. They don't go further than the first paragraph.
But Mark says if it bleeds, it leads.
Yep, and in our local paper where we live here in Marin Marin County has some of the lowest unit sales of any county, and so when it advertises every month in the local paper, the median price has gone up X. It's such an unrealistic number that it's almost meaningless.
Because it's 4 houses that sold for $4 million.
Okay, we are going to here's our thoughts for the day. We're going to cut out here. Time's a waste.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, some interesting facts about games in pubs in the UK. Now, in Glasgow, they banned all pub games from the city's 1,100 bars in 1939 because games encouraged drinking.
And their sales dropped.
Yeah, very much so. Their median one did too.
Yes.
And a pub in Durham had to cancel a mouse race because it was found that 15 of the 18 mice were pregnant and the other 3 were too tired to run at all, probably due to the warm beer that they serve. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions, and hopefully they won't be about right triangles again. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
You're good.
Yeehaw.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Fun.
Pygmalion.
Thank you.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
Oh. Ah.
Actually, I do have, you're not going to be here, but I've got one's famous celebrity accidents. That's one of them. And then other ones are going to be famous trials.
Wow.
Kind of
one's got to be
interesting.
urgent.
No,
No.
actually, I didn't have them there.
How do you come up with them?
I
Your
go to
daughters and yourself?
No, there's a couple of websites I go to, and I just kind of randomly do it. And then one of them's for sports. You know, if I do the sports show on Tuesdays, so I just look at sports and I choose which kind of sport I'm going to talk about.
What's going on in sports? My husband and I watch football a lot, so once the Super Bowl ended, I
Kind of got out of it, huh?